Hello YouTubes. It's occurred to me that I've not actually tested the engine on this project, to see if it's got any compression. And since I'm basing this whole project around a Mazda rotary turbo engine, might be a good idea to see if it actually works. Welcome back. Before I get onto the engine, I'm going to just explain what we're doing in this video. A bit of an update, a bit of an explanation, and an idea of the goals I've got planned. There is some updates in the steering, and I want to walk through how I'm going to attach the rear diff, the rear hubs, axles, suspension arms. Kind of a harebrained scheme. But first, engine. Now, because of the way the rotary engine works, it's actually really hard to do a compression test without the right tools, but I can at least do a chuff test. And what's a chuff test? Let me show you. If you're new to rotary engines, this will be interesting. No pistons. There are two triangular kind of pistons that rotate eccentrically. One in there, one in there, connected with an eccentric shaft. It's not quite a crankshaft. Anyway, they're constantly rotating in a nice smooth motion, so none of this boinging up and down like you get with a piston engine. Right, air and fuel goes in here. Well, air goes in there, fuel goes in with these injectors. Two there. Round and round the engine, combustion, explosions, and then it comes back out here, which is obviously your turbo. Turbo spins, sends compressed air up through there, through an intercooler and back in there, and the cycle continues. Now, the way we're going to do this chuff test is I'm going to rotate that just with a socket and a lever, just a manual tool to rotate. If I use power tools, I won't hear what I'm doing. And we're going to be listening for noises coming out of the spark plug holes. Again, if you're new, you have 4 spark plugs, 2 per cylinder. T stands for trailing, L stands for leading, I believe. So it sparks initially at kind of top dead center. I'm not quite sure how else to describe it. And then it fires again as it's exiting, almost on your exhaust stroke. Two per rotor, okay? So one of these will probably do a sucky thing and one will do a blowy thing, just because of the rotation and the weird shapes going on inside there. So let me grab, why can't I remember the name of the tool? I'll show you, and then you guys can leave a comment because I'm having a brain fart at the moment. This thing here, with a socket in the end. I'm going to stick that in there, rotate that, and you guys can go around there and listen for noises. Let us begin. We'll start with that side there. Ooh. Sounds like a steam train. Right, I'm going to stick my fingers over one of them and see what happens. Okay, that one is blowing. Yep, that's definitely blowing hard. Let's see what this one's doing. Ooh, that's sucking. So those two are doing stuff. No way to measure it other than how it feels and how it sounds. Right, let's try this side. Yep, that's blowing. So this should also be sucking. Oh, we're moving. Oh, that's sucking as well. Now they all sound and they all feel very similar. I don't know if that's good or bad, I'm no expert. Oh, we're moving again. Bye. I really want... Stay there. I really want it off this big cradle that it's on, but I can't do that until we get the rear end axle and control arms on, but that's what I really want to get into next. So as I was saying, I'm no expert on rotary engines. In fact, I'm not even an amateur at this point. But that sounds good to me. There was no bits of shrapnel firing out, so I'm happy just to plug those holes for now so nothing gets in and deal with that later, because I just want this thing rolling. Right. Oh, let me show you the steering first. Right, I've concluded that this rack that I just got and just fitted is pretty much exactly the same as the one I took off. The only difference is this one has a leak. So I've got two Mustang 2 power steering racks. One of them will be going in the hot rod, so no biggie. But here's the issue that I'm having. I kind of got this one because I thought it was slightly different to that one. Main thing being, and a lot of you commented on this about bump steer. The pivot point for the inner tie rod is roughly there. I've set the rack to center, right? So the pivot point should be exactly the same distance from there to there as it is on the other side. So I would say the pivot point is about there, which is about 2 inches out. And on here, the pivot point is away in there. Now, if you look at this, this is the end of the rack body is there. So that's about 1 inch and a bit out of here. And on this side, it's away there. So the whole rack will need to come over that way, about 1 inch to center it. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to center the steering properly with the pivot points in the right places. Now, here's my next issue. I should point out, I did not build this frame. I've been adding to it, but I didn't build it, so I'm not quite sure of the original plan. If you know about bump steer, you will know that this pivot point should be in an imaginary line between the top pivot point of the control arm, the bottom control arm pivot point. And as you can see, the imaginary line would take it to about there, about this point in here. So we are about 2 inches too far that way. Now the whole thing's got to come that way about 1 inch, but we're still going to be 1 inch too far out, which means we're going to be 1 inch too far out on this side as well. So what am I going to do? So as I mentioned before, I didn't build this frame. I didn't build these, I didn't tack them in place, so it's possible that this whole setup was designed for a different rack. But the racks I have got and the racks I can get are just not going to work with this setup. So all I really have to do is change the pivot points in the control arms, which would mean I don't want to make this any wider, but I will need to shorten this and maybe attach it there. And I need to work out the geometry to make sure that the hub kind of stays straight or kind of goes at a slight curve as it goes up or out or whatever it's supposed to be. But I'm not doing that just now because I need to know how wide the back of the car is going to be. I don't want the front being wider than the back. It doesn't make sense. That's why I'm desperate to get everything kind of mocked up temporarily just now, and then I can figure out how wide I want this and where I need to mount all this and change all that. With regards to the steering, I'm not too bothered if I have to move that because I'm only going to have to move it about 1 inch. It's not really going to change this. This will come over this way a little bit, and I just need to adjust that a little bit. It should be fine. If anything, I'll just need to chop maybe 1/4 inch out of this rod. No problem. So, previous video I said I was going to weld the inside of that, so that is done. That mount is welded. Just threw on some paint for just now. I put on a bit of angle iron between this point and that point and bolted the lower mounting point for the steering column. Welded this stuff properly, and put gussets on the underside. That'll do that. And I do have a new Boss and quick release adapter coming today, so hopefully that will be here before the end of the video. Right, let me explain what's going on at the back. Oh, one more thing. I think it was Mr. N was asking if I had enough room for my feet at the bottom of the steering column. He was a bit concerned. I'm pretty sure I do. I'll give you a close look. It's possible that he thought that this section was too low, but that's not where my feet are going to be. There's actually going to be a wall here. My feet are going to be in here. So let me jump in and show you. Loads of room. Moving on then. So here's the parts we have to play with. Lower control arm, upper control arm, same. Drive shafts, RX-7 rear hubs, I'll talk about them later, and of course my rear diff. Now I've not mounted the diff yet because I'm not sure the height yet. I won't know the height until I've got the control arms on and the axles, because for example if I mounted the diff there, the axles might end up pointing that way, and I kind of want them straight at normal ride height. And I do have a feeling that they're going to have to, that section there is going to go over that bar there. Where are we? There. But as I say, leaving that just now until I've got the control arms sorted. Now, the tricky bit is going to be, because I'm obsessed with using everything RX-7, if you have a look at this hub, none of these are straight. None of these joining sections are straight, so I really can't use them. So the plan is to chop that off, chop that off, chop this off and that, and make that area flat. Then we're going to cut a section of this 1/4 inch steel with a big hole in the middle to allow the drive shaft to be inserted through it. Drill holes around there, 3 or 4 holes to attach that, and then we can weld some sort of bushing receiver that they can attach to. Maybe not them, because they seem really wide, but something along those lines. And to be honest, as much as these are big and strong, they're a bit over-engineered and they're a bit ugly. Sorry Kevin, I know you made them. But I think I would rather they were tubular steel like the lower control arms. Well, in fact, the lower and upper control arms at the front. Much prefer the round stuff. So the main purpose, or the main goal for now, is to see if this concept will even work. I've got to use these because the shafts fit in the right splines. They've got the brake holders, all that kind of stuff. So kind of stuck with them. And let's face it guys, this is a low-cost project. It's not just a clever name. The whole concept of the low-cost name was low cost. A low-cost version of a Lotus Super 7. That's the whole point. If you're just going to go out and buy everything brand new, then it's a high-cost project. It doesn't have the same ring to it. In saying that though, sometimes you do actually just have to buy new stuff. For example, I don't want to use this genuine RX-7 steering wheel because it's just not my style. I'm not saying it's ugly, just not my style. And someone did donate this steering wheel to me a while back, and I went out and bought a Nissan hub for the previous steering column, which obviously doesn't fit because it's Nissan, and Nissan and Mazda aren't the best of friends. So I have ordered a new hub and universal quick release adapter, which I was talking about earlier. So hopefully that will arrive soon and we'll get that fitted, and that will be something achieved today with a bit of luck. And as if by magic, my parts just arrived. So this should be the Boss. Now, because I'm adding a quick release onto a Boss, which is also an add-on, I went for a sort of low profile Boss. as opposed to the usual massive thing. Isn't that nice? So that goes on to the Mazda shaft, spline shaft. It's got the horn thing, but don't think I'll be using that. And this should be the quick release jobby. Little screws and hopefully an Allen key. Yes. Quick release hub. Now I'm going for a black and red theme with this whole car, so I thought that would work quite nice. So it's got choices for putting the steering wheel on, and these holes should line up with those holes or we're in trouble. How do you release this? Goodness, it's not that quick if I can't get it off. I thought there was going to be a button or something. No instructions. Ah, look, this is cool. You pull that. Oh, that's nice. I like that. So this, as I say, should line up with this, which it does. Right, let's see if the hub fits to the shaft. Oh, that is a nice fit. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this to the wheel first, because I've left the steering shaft, the steering column, well, the steering straight, perfectly straight. So it's going to be much easier to line it up with the steering wheel on. So give me a second and I'll be back. Okay, that plan's not going to work. I thought I could put the hub on and the steering wheel and then put the bolt through the middle, but when you put this, which is the bit you need to bolt to this hub adapter, you've got no access to the center bolt, so I'm just going to have to wing it. Let's go for that little notch there being the top middle. Yeah, we'll try that. So this section on first. Let's get it on as middle-ish as possible. Can't go over how nice a fit that is. So this kit comes with all the bolts you need. There's, oh right, there's one there. Oh right, God, it's getting confused. There's so many things to do here. Big nut in the middle. Not going mega tight with that for now, in case I have to remove it all. Now I'm just hoping there's enough room in the centre of this for the nut. I'm guessing you're supposed to connect these wires to this wire, but they're just getting in the way. And I won't be using that, so I'm going to take these little wires out. I'll leave that one for now, it's not doing any harm, but this one, these are getting in the way, I think. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how you would even make that fit. Right, let me get them out. I'm just double checking. Oh, there's a selection of holes in this thing, so I should find the right selection. Yes, it's going to work, guys. Give me a second. Right, let me whip this on. Right, now we put this on. Again, it's all about lining this up so that the steering is going to be straight. So I want it there. Oh, this is going to depend on where it clicks in, right? because that looks a wee bit to the left. No, that's pretty good. Pretty good. So now we put on the other set of screws. Well, that is just awesome. I'm going to have to get a fake horn button for the center. Let's see if it works. So, we pull the red bit, steering wheel comes off, off you go to the shops, come back with all your shopping. Oh, get the car first. Pull the red thing. Solid. Oh, that looks nice. Much nicer with the smaller sports wheel as well. Job done. On to the hard stuff, I guess. Right, the hard work begins tomorrow. First thing I'm going to do is try and get that diff mounted in roughly the right area, because I've got my gigantic wheel spacers. I was concerned that the front was going to be wider than the back. Not anymore. Excited. Right, see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you've not already. You don't want to miss where this is going. Wherever that might be. Take care. Bye bye.